Yeah, yo, I wanted to talk about this ADOS, this African descendants of slaves. I got a different acronym for it. It stands for Another Divisive Organization, SMH, shaking my head. It's definitely a divisive type thing because, well, I will say this though. It is needed because there needs to be a clear distinction between blacks, African Americans, like descendants of immigrants like Jamaicans and Haitians and other people from the continent of Africa, because, you know, a lot of Africans have come out and said, it's almost like Africans say to white zaddy and African Americans say to white zaddy, yo, I'm better than that black motherfucker. Trying to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm better than an African American. That's what an African's saying. And an African American is saying to the white man, I'm better than an African. You know what I'm saying? He can't even pronounce his name, you know. He live in a hut, that type shit. So, you know, that's what it is. The distinction needs to be made because they've clearly said that, you know, we don't fuck with them too tough. So we need to say that we don't fuck with them too tough. This Pan-African and African-American coalition or alliance, it doesn't exist. We go over to Africa, they ain't gonna show us love like that. I mean, because we tourists, and ain't no tourists don't come over there without money. So they're going to be nice to us in that regard. But as far as, you know, this is my African brother from St. Louis and I'm from Kenya. Nah, nothing like that. And you got to look at who their leader is. Yvette Carnell. She is a biracial lesbian woman in a relationship with a Caucasian female. And that's the spokesperson, a straight up bed wench. So if this was 1819, we'd have a bed wench as our spokesperson. And yeah, she's going to naturally have black men and black women's collective best interests at heart. You believe that shit? First of all, how pro-black can she be if she's a lesbian that's not going to procreate in the black community, number one? And number two, she's chosen a white partner. She's not about black progression with that. You're not. I don't care what anybody says. You can't, I don't want to hear about you fall in love with who you fall in love with. You basically like, this person ain't of my culture. So therefore, they wouldn't even have an interest in uplifting black people. So yeah, that's how I'm looking at that shit. And it's like, why are we even asking for reparations? We shouldn't be asking for that shit. We should be taking it. We should be going to them, telling them what we want. Why are we going to the same man that enslaved us for almost 500 years, did all types of shit to us and our families, deprived us of education, any type of wealth, any type of true spiritual knowledge, try to take that from us? Why are we going to go to him and ask him to do something that he should have done to us years ago? And it's not, see, what's going to happen is, see, asking for reparations, first of all, it's not going to happen unless, first it's going to start out with, we can't measure how much we give people. That's probably what it's going to start out. And then they're going to go into, well, we need to include other people. That will be Mexicans, other immigrants, probably gay people too. And that ain't, we don't need to let anybody else in this but descendants of African slaves. That's it. Nobody else. If you're LGBT and you happen to be a descendant of a slave, that's fine. But if you're LGBT and Mexican, we ain't fucking with you. Stay over there, man. Don't come over here because we're picking up some momentum with all this, because really, they won't say it, but we shot the shit out of Kamala Harris's campaign. Her whole platform is full of holes. We just shot that shit right up. We're not for that. If you ain't talking about what you plan on doing for black motherfuckers, we don't even want to hear what you're saying. They don't have anybody to put in front of us now. So they basically know we've got more power than they want to give us. So eventually they're going to force our hand by telling us reparations, we don't have the money for it, or we can't allocate it the right way, or whatever, or we need to include other people. We walk away from it. I'm telling you, I said this before. We need to stop with the watching of the sports and the entertainment, period. The NFL players need to say, you know what? I got one house. I'm going to stick with one house. I'm not buying a bunch of houses and a bunch of cars and jewelry and supporting my deadbeat ass family. So I gotta play to make this money because I'm supporting my aunt, my uncle, my whole freaking family. Got to stop all that. And then, I mean, if something like the NBA was to fall apart, you could have black team owners, black coaches. If the coaches were representative of the players in the NFL, if the owners were representatives of the players, the agents were representative of the players and black, you know, not that I would look for that to be my profession, but I know how to talk to a white dude. I know how to get most of these brothers top dollar because I know how to speak to these white dudes. I know how to articulate myself in a way to make these white dudes listen. So anyway, that's what we need to do. Stop with the sports and the entertainment. Stop glorifying the shit. See what they do to us at the Oscars and at the Emmys, or not the Emmys. What is it? Motown, the musical, the Grammys. That's it. The Grammys and the Oscars. They treat us like we're bald-headed stepchildren. We need to just walk away from all that stuff, man, and build our own. Really, you know, segregation is nothing more than wanting white acceptance. That's all it is. You want white people to treat you equal? They ain't going to. Break off and build your own. But they're not going to give us reparations. We're going to have to push the envelope and do something to financially sever them at the head for them to even want to give us our money back. And the thing about it is they're going to want to give us one lump sum. No, this thing goes on for generations to come. Generations. And they're paying the Jewish people. They're still paying them. They get money every year. We don't get shit. No. But that's why I think we're foolish in order to think that we can go to him and ask him for what we want. That makes no sense at all. He ain't gonna do that for us. Why would he do that for us when this country was built off the misrepresentation and the mistreatment and the exploitation of black people, not nobody else. So why should they get anything? Not gay people, not women, off black people. Those are the only people that need to get reparated, if that's even a word. Black men and women and children who are descendants of slaves of Africa. How do you go about proving it? That might be some more shit that they put in the way to make the journey longer and longer and longer, just for them to tell us, hey, we can't help you niggers. Because that's what they're looking to do. They might implement some bullshit program that's supposed to help Americans all the way across the board, and that's supposed to help black people as part of the collective. No, that's not good enough. No. Why? When they want to reward us or give us compensation, they got to compensate everybody else too. That's not going to level the playing field. Really, what reparations is going to do, if it ever happens, I pray and wish that it would in my lifetime, but eventually I would like to see it. What it's going to do is going to topple white supremacy, because it's not going to give white people a leg up anymore. And that's why white people don't want to do it. Because white privilege is something they've been benefiting from for years. And they just don't want to give that up. That's why, for the most part, they won't even acknowledge no white privilege shit. They won't even do it. But yeah, ADOS is a good thing. I personally don't like who the spokesperson is. I touched on that earlier. I don't see where you're going to have real progress with a bed wench lesbian as your spokesperson. I'm not feeling that, dog.